What's happening, Hexco? It is Monday. Happy Monday. A new week. A new thing to complain about. Hello, pitiful geniuses. Hello. Hello, buy pressure. Hello. Hello. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear the message that Hexco? PulseCo. We're doing PulseXco? Ink. We're good for ink on this. The Ink Republic. That doesn't sound too bad. Yeah. How's it going? Welcome back to the show. Are you not excited? Are you not ready to feast on some critical points about how Richard Hart is not a scammer? Let me check my mic because last time, I don't know why. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why. Switch back. What are you doing? Go back. It will not switch my mic. That is annoying. Should I plug it and plug it back in? Give me just a second. So weird. It will not switch back to my mic. So annoying. Why? Why won't you switch? That is annoying. Well, I don't know. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it live. We're gonna do it live. Don't think what else I can do. Let me check one more setting real quick. Technical difficulties. This happens once every 10 streams, 20 streams or so. Let me check one more thing. Super weird. Default mic. Didn't StreamYard say they were having problems with we'll do it live. Didn't they say they were having problems with some browsers? Did I upgrade to like the wrong, the one they didn't like? Very strange. Very strange indeed. Yeah, literally, StreamYard would not let me switch. I try to switch, and then it just doesn't. Weird. Yeah, we'll come back right back. Be right back. All right. Yeah, I don't know. That's the best we got. That's the best we got. So we're gonna go with this. StreamYard just doesn't want to switch to my mic. It's working fine. It's got a green light, doing fine. So whatever. You won't get the best mic. You didn't get the best mic out last time either, because it did last time. I didn't even know till the end of the stream, and I listened to it like, oh crap, I was on AirPods. But that's what StreamYard wants. StreamYard is a platform. It's going to gate me on my microphone today. I'm going to gate my mic. Then mic is gated. So we'll do AirPods. We'll do it. We're still going to do it live. All right, back to the show with Scamster. Great question. Not going to happen. Not from Sir Richard of Riches. Pretty good. Yeah, I want to go through a few different ones. I don't know how many times we have to go over this nonsense. in the community of like, I feel like it's such a cheap evaluation too, to be like, oh, Richard's a scammer. Again, who did he scam? You can't, the definition, like, you can't say the definition of a scam is the people who bought high and the price hasn't went up above the price that they want anymore. It's not a scam. That's the market. That's, hey, does he influence things? Sure. Is he going to do what you want him to do? No. Still, that doesn't fit the definition of a scam. So the scam, a rug pull, a, you know, whatever it is, it's a direct, I would say a good definition would be around a direct intentional action of bad faith, especially one enriching oneself by taking away from others type of deal. Has he did that? I have not heard a single interesting argument or case towards that. Has, like, the best people can come up with is like ETH recycling thing, you know, market manipulation, again, doing things that where there's like this gray area. We didn't know if they're, you know, there's not like beating the SEC, right? Like, we didn't know all this stuff was like, I mean, we believed it was totally fine and all this stuff too, but we came out in court, you know, not only no jurisdiction, but there's nothing to rule upon. There's no merit. There's nothing behind this stuff. It didn't do anything wrong. It didn't break any laws, all this stuff. It didn't break any rules. So that stuff came out in SEC, which is pretty awesome clarity as well. But there isn't this scam. It just feels like that. Like, I think it really, again, talk about red candle syndrome, all that stuff. But it just feels like, oh, you know, Foundry isn't doing all the things I think they should do. One, maybe they're smarter than you. Maybe they're smarter than all of us. Maybe it's like, if you don't believe he's stupid and you don't believe he's, you know, just going to disappear, which, like, wouldn't that be the weirdest disappearing act of all time? It's like, hang on, I gotta beat the SEC. I gotta like tell everyone I'm in it for glory. And then right when the most opportune time happens, I don't need any money. However, I'm just gonna like rug or something. Like, it doesn't, there's no logical argument. So let's put that aside. There's no logical argument. There's all these, I wish this was different, or, oh, we did this thing that's unusual, or, oh, there's all these unknowns that we don't know what's gonna happen. There's all that stuff, but there's no scam. So either in here, you're okay with that, you acknowledge it, it's part of the system, or you're not. If you don't like the OA, you don't have to like the OA. But it doesn't mean it's a scam because there's some centralized entity with a large holding that has influence over the ecosystem. There's nothing there. There's nothing there to pull on. There's no thread to pull on. So there's just mostly just these weak arguments of some good intentioned people, some probably not good intentioned people, that have been made that just don't make any sense. There's just nothing there. So I thought it'd be interesting to talk about what, you know, if he was a scammer, you know, like what do scammers actually do? What would they do in all these different situations and stuff? So the first one that, you know, the greatest hits, I promise you nothing, I make no promises, not guaranteeing, you know, anything. Could tell you what has happened before, could tell you what Bitcoin did, could tell you what Ethereum did. But, you know, there's no expectation, really, no expectations, no promises, all that stuff. And let me pull up before we get into it too. Let me just pull up richardhart.cc. If you didn't know, this is a mirror of the website that used to be up. Who knows if it'll ever come back online. This is a good point. How about look at the camera, still looking down, still telling the story. Maybe no, I want other here. More here. There we go. Let's do that one. So the biggest point too is, what would scammers do in that situation? Scammers usually promise very specific returns. instead of just making like, hey, this is possible, here's what other people did, here's historical actions. Scammers often, you could see them making like, oh, you're definitely going to make a lot of money here. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do this work. I'm going to make you all these promises. And somebody posted a clip the other day about him, one of the clips of him saying like, which kind of made me think about the stream too, or some different pieces to talk about it. Of could make you all these promises. Everybody wants to make promises. Everybody wants him to mess up. Everybody wants him to do the wrong thing, and he's just not going to do it. He's just not going to do the wrong thing. He's not going to mess up. He's not going to, actually do anything wrong that would cause these, the different Interpol stuff and whatever SEC stuff to actually have any legs to, to get in trouble or all this stuff. I never thought he would even, people talk about, oh, I think he's going to settle SEC. I'm like, I don't think he's going to settle. Like, I don't, even Nuclear Herbs, I remember him talking about, you don't hire this Chad, 10, 11, 12, 13 person legal team to settle. Settle for what? Like, you're here to win. So I never really bought into that either. And it just doesn't fit the whole narrative. Like, he's a winner. What did Richard Hart win? So why would he gear up to just, have this limp win or limp settling? He's the dude that takes things all the way. So if there was some sort of scam, probably be very specific, very much like telling people, no, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. Instead, what does he do? I did a live stream for a couple of years. Still puts out good information time to time outside of workout videos or workout text type videos. Still produces, like, again, actionable, interesting information from time to time. Who knows who's updating the PulseChain website? It just got an update. Who's updating hex.com? It just got an update. So all these things, I don't think appreciating the way he goes about things is so hard to do for most people when the price is down or the market has one direction they want to go, or again, over leverage, all the stuff we've been talking about for years now. It's hard to appreciate it then, but hey, maybe the price goes up a lot. A lot of it will be much more easy to consume. A lot of it will be like, okay, that was totally the right move. Again, I'm not saying that every move he makes is the right move and all this stuff too, but it's not without thinking or action or planning. I think all this is totally just prepared for and all this stuff. And a lot of it, I'm sure, it comes and goes as things happen too. But it's not what a scammer would do, right? So making no promises thing, very explicit about that for years and years and years. Hey, it worked out, didn't it? Beat the SEC because he made no promises, not a security, not, no wrongdoing, all that stuff too. And then what was a scammer as far as, if a actual scammer got charged with something, or Interpol or Red Notice, all this stuff too, what would they do? Would they still be tweeting? Would they still be, interacting, producing content, talking about community marketing engagements, acting like nothing happened? Like, no. He's out there doing, I believe he's literally communicating and doing like as most as he can that makes sense without, inviting, it's strategic, not inviting further trouble or anything like that too. And the whole case of sham, we talked about that before, the tax stuff, all the allegations, stuff like that. Yeah, smart guy, more than likely good at taxes. His people good at taxes, all this stuff. So I'm not worried about that. I can totally see that going away very, very easy. So scammer, disappear, wouldn't hear from. Make you promises, disappear. That's what scammers do. Make promises, disappear. He tried to make you promises, and he didn't disappear. Two things that would be that would go against that. And then I think another key point in this too is the long-term versus short-term. So really focusing on, you talk about ETH, if you believe Richard, or if he controls ETH, owns ETH, all the stuff from the stack banks, putting out on the PulseChain, like, wouldn't a scammer, well, first of all, a scammer would have probably already took that money and, put it somewhere else or spent it or did all these other things with it too. if they did decide to keep it around for some other big plan, it would probably be in some way to benefit them, or to, you know, just nothing that would, like, why would they start? Why would they care about the community at that point? They got the money, they got the SAC funds, they got the ETH, they got the, DAI, they got all this stuff. Why would they care about anything else after getting, multi-million-dollar payday type deal? What has happened to majority of the ETH there, the DAI, the ETH, all that stuff? Even the hex will sell. By the way, the scammer would probably sell the hex too, wouldn't they? Probably sell the hex. Again, the mental gymnastics you have to go through to paint this guy as a scammer is kind of amazing. Like, it's almost like you're creating a story of like this long con that along the way could have been so much more profitable, but it makes no sense for it to go that way. It makes much more sense for it not to be. It makes much more sense for him to be doing the things that to help grow the place again, the long term, building PulseChain and community and Hex, and again, funneling a lot of stuff. And one day, a lot of the funds do go towards rightfully earned or allocated funds to him. Again, SAC stuff, not your money anymore. All the OA holdings, not your money either. All that stuff goes into longevity research. It goes into a ton of watches one day. Who cares? That's founders get rewarded, don't they? Elon Musk, richest man in the world. What did he do? Create a lot of value for society. Deserves it. So even if the founder did take profits one day or sell or do whatever, again, what would a scammer do? He already did a lot of that stuff. That's the thing about Richard too. It's like he came into this perfect mold of being a founder too, where he doesn't need anything from anybody. He has the space and he has the time and resources to focus on glory, to focus on doing amazing things, being a force for good, and all of this stuff. So it's perfect. It's amazing. Does it always go the way you want to? No, but it's awesome. So back to the ETH real quick too. Scammer, would have already, let's say the scammer was really doing a long con too. They were just like, okay, I need the prices to go up because I might sell for much more later and extract much more out of the ecosystem, that kind of thing. What would they do? Well, one thing that probably a lot of people want the SAC wallets to do is to put it all in PulseChain. Go buy back. Go do a refund. Go pump everything. Go pump the prices short term to 10x or 50x or 100x, and then just let the air out of PulseChain. Okay, done. We're all done. Everything's good now. That's what it's supposed to do. All done now. Not doing that. Maybe been some test pumps here and there the last year or two, but it ain't all going. Like, that doesn't make any sense for it to all just go in all at one time. For what? I mean, that's not, but that's the type of, like, it's not even like a scammer will do that. It's kind of like just not a very smart person with a lot of money would do that type of deal, because again, why would you do that? That'd be a super short term, pumping up type of deal. And just and what would all be for? What would all the marketing, what would all the streams, what would all the gathering of people, what would all the community, what would it all be for? I think RH wants to maximize the community. I think he wants people to go do the work. He wants everyone throughout this time to be building their skills, building stuff for PulseChain, building on Hex, to learning from what they see out there in the ecosystem, to see what they can go contribute and what kind of value they can create, in order for it to be the most, staircase up possible as far as the community, the tech, the building, all that stuff goes. Hopefully the price will follow. But that's nothing in the realm of what a scammer would do. Doesn't make any sense. So, and another point too, like, he talks about so many other things than crypto, so many other interests, longevity, of course, a big thing that he has, spoken a lot on recently, but again, that's what I speculate is his end game for a lot of stuff too. Make, play the game of the highest appreciating assets of mankind, crypto, and then turn that into saving people in the physical world, longevity stuff. We talk about privacy, different freedom, even sacrifice of freedom of speech, freedom of movement type of deal. Better, avoiding bad regulations, workout, health, wealth, happiness type of stuff too. A lot of the stuff he talks about, a lot of the interests, a lot of things we've seen him do and say and stuff, even more recently too, have had nothing to do with Hex and PulseChain and all that, which leads me to believe, or reinforces the belief, that he has more plans than just this way. It's not like, and it's not in this like, oh, he's forgotten about PulseChain, he's forgotten about Hex, he's not gonna do any more stuff or participate or live stream and all that either. It just means that there are layers to this. It is much deeper than just, hey, let's just go, like all these pieces need to come together instead of just, again, what we from the outside, our limited view of data can provide. I think it's very helpful. Probably the biggest thing I can keep in mind too is when I see something or get frustrated or whatever, which don't happen very often, but I think it's very useful to remind myself too, like, I don't have all the data. Like, I'm not in the war room of PulseChain.com where they're making decisions or talking about things, or there is some plan of like stage releases of these things over time, right market conditions, timeline, like all that stuff. What are the stuff that that he never talks about, that wouldn't give any expectations that we have of, that may in fact exist, but can't talk about otherwise would give such expectations? That's all information that we don't have. I don't have that to factor in. That's where the belief comes from. The belief comes from, hey, there is, there are, the tech is as good as it needs to be. The community keeps building with aligned incentives. And RH, our number one marketer, leader, founder, I think he will return to streaming and stuff when it actually makes sense to. And I think I think him and the devs and all this stuff too. Again, they're not sharing it with us because we would have expectations. The whole deal is, like, imagine if, actually, there's probably examples of this. Every time Richard, or I don't remember Brett saying much about new features or anything else, but every time Richard's like, oh, whatever. What do you say? Talk about wallet from time to time. He alluded to live streaming in some way, and all of a sudden, the barrage of, hey, win live stream, hey, win wallet, hey, all this stuff. I think he's doing the right way of sort of putting things out there, getting feedback actually now the comments are turned on, and seeing how people react, seeing what ideas come from it. Even with the mega marketing thing, that is him interacting with the community and getting input and motivating people and showing people, hey, there is stuff happening. Just because you don't know the exact details, and again, it's better that way. Like, why can't it just accept that? Like, it's better that way. It's better that we don't know everything. It's better that it doesn't lay out this timeline, this roadmap that we can all follow, and just like every time. So then, because if he did, right, like every time he says something like that, even with the 2 month stuff, I bet if nothing happens, if the marketing thing doesn't materialize after 2 months from when he said it, I bet you'll see, within 2 months or whatever, there'll be plenty of people using it as ammunition, be like, no, but you told me, you told me in 2 months I have the expectation. I think it's much better that he doesn't say things that way, because then now the hint of it happening for motivation, good. The setting it up as if there should be expectations or something that he needs to do for us, that everyone's waiting on him to do. Just sit back, and Richard, one way or another, metaphorically or directly, gonna pump our bags. Like, that's not, that's not helping the ecosystem. That's not motivating people. So I think putting it having these vague type of deals, having this like, hey, the community is doing this work, yet still facilitating and interacting much more than I even thought he would. I didn't see Richard like organizing or facilitating or whatever community efforts around marketing. I didn't see that stuff. I didn't think that was, we'd see that from him. Again, I try not to expect things like that. So I think he speaks around these things very vaguely on purpose, and I think it's good. It's a good thing. There are trade-offs, of course. Yeah, it does suck to not know when this, that, and all this stuff too. But I think it's more motivating. It's more on par for the brand, and it's easier. It makes things easier. It probably puts less pressure on him, the devs, everyone else, so they can focus on what I would imagine are doing some amazing things, even though I don't expect them to. But I imagine I can make an easy case that will be beneficial to work on whatever they're working on. Talked about the super app before. Super excited for that. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. Vertical integration, more than a wallet type of deal. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the last 2 or 3 months. We've seen a ton of bullish, stuff happening in the ecosystem. Again, the website updates, again, Richard talked about the marketing stuff, the mega marketing campaign, all that super interesting and super bullish. And I don't know if we're ever going to get back to a day where, even if Richard is live streaming, that there's going to be these exact plans. You're always going to know that. I think there's always going to be this type of uncertainty. And that's the thing in the ecosystem. That's just what, if you're going to be a part of things, it really, that space between that I think it just does take belief. I think it takes that you're not going to know the next step of everything happening. But hopefully, if you're patient enough and you produce enough and you become, the whole self-fulfilling prophecy of the community, doing the work, working towards something, and then letting Richard and the devs do whatever they're going to do behind the scenes to help and be benevolent and all this stuff too. I just think that's the best system, and that's just something that you're part of the ecosystem. It's just not worth, to me, it's just not worth getting frustrated over. It's not worth getting upset over. And I don't think we would be having these types of sentiment if the prices were higher, but they're just not. If they were meant to be higher right now, they would be higher right now. They're just not. So, and there's a ton of macro reasons. There's a ton of other stuff too. So this isn't, people come from the SAC phase, people come in later, probably have different framing and views of the ecosystem. But none about this is a scam. There's nothing about it that's a scam. It's very well put together. And just because it isn't ticking all the boxes, or we don't have all the information, that doesn't, nothing scammy about that. So what else? By the way, PulseChain actually launched. What would a scammer do? Probably not launch PulseChain. I don't know. Are there other examples of networks, founders that hyped up things and then didn't launch? I don't know. By the way, chat, please keep it simple. Just not reading too much, but please keep it nice and simple in the chat. Welcome, McG. How's it going? Welcome. PulseChain launched, everyone. May 12, 2023. I think it's pretty cool. I think the tokenomics, I think a lot of stuff, the super bullish things that are hard to see when the prices are down and not in up-only market situations, they will rebuild themselves and be much more exciting if that's what you get fuel from. See, I don't get fuel. I used this phrase before. I try not to let my emotions be the candle colors. And I really don't look at the prices often. Literally, I look at the prices when I look at the prices. I'm going to buy, sell, or need data for some, advanced trading decision, which I don't do very often. That's the only time. Why else would I look at them? I'll tell you why else. Because I want to feel good. Well, when they're green, if I get used to looking at them to make myself feel good and feel pumped up and bullish, then I feel as if I'm setting myself up for the other direction too. If I look at them when they're red, then I don't want to be sad and frustrated or whatever too. So for me, it goes both ways. I just don't want to be part of that system. I don't want to participate in that system of I want to feel good when it's green and bad when it's red. I just remove myself from that system. Now, there may be a time, perhaps during up only type stuff, where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look at the prices more. Because those dopamine hits, they're very tasty and I get more of them. But right now, I don't think that's the time. Not financial advice. I'm not, I said it, I do not myself believe that if I look at the price chart, I'm going to get those constant dopamine hits. And I don't want to get used to that either. So what motivates me? Winning. What am I here to do? Win. And I like to help everyone out there who wants to win as well by providing solid information and perspectives around such a thing. I've been around a while. I've been following Richard since 2017. Started interacting with the community in 2022. I think I have interesting insight from time to time, especially on developments, and I can help people understand what's going on, inform them on what's happening, primarily with focus more on the core coins, some community projects stuff too, and a lot on Richard and what I think his intentions are, and speculation around stuff like that. If you feel the same, I hope to inspire you to go out there and put some positivity stuff. So, PulseX conference, by the way, 1 week from today. 1 week, we're almost there. Should be fun. What else? What else? Other scammy? What other things that Richard has done that are kind of the opposite of what a scammer would do? He definitely makes, even on hex.com. Let's go to hex.com. RichardHart.com or richardhart.cc. It's pretty good. Look at this beautiful, beautiful tagline. It's used to say 38% APY. And actually, if you look at Crispy Shards, I went to the last hex stream. On the average, the average APY across all stakes? I think a lot of them were 5.555 stakes. Did appear to be in that range, even though that wasn't the maybe what an average user would do and would get for a stake before the OA cut the inflation. And now it says Hex went up 10,000x in price in 2 years. If you ever want to see the previous pages of this, so Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine is awesome. You guys want to see early versions of Hex.com? It's pretty cool. So 2020, so it launched December. Let's go 2019. Let's go way back. Let's go March 19th, 2019. This is about 6 months before launch. See what Hex.com used to look like. Oh, still the Chinese side. Yeah, it used to be like some Chinese. I looked it up a while back before Richard got the domain. Because did we have BitcoinHex.com for a while? Or we had Hex.win. That's what it was. Shout out to Hex.win. No, still the Chinese thing. So when did he get Hex.com? Was it after launch? Was it really after launch? So that was 2019. So 2020. Okay, so this was, sorry, that was, sorry, did launch 20, did, hold on, it did launch 2019. Yeah, December 2nd, 2019. So in 2020, yeah, I guess it was hex dot. Okay, so I need to look up hex.win so we can see some early versions. Before we get hex.com, yeah, let me look up hex.win. So hex.win 2019. Are you going to give me the snapshot? Okay, so November 13th, 2019. So this was a month or a few weeks before launch. Let's see what it looked like. Whoa, this used to be hex.com. So this was almost a year after launch. Yeah, I remember I had a bunch of Richard's videos and stuff on it too. Come on. Give me hex.win. Give me before launch. Okay. Let's keep the chat about topic, please. Topic, be civil and on topic. If you all don't mind, please. So this was before launch. Free for Bitcoin holders is hex.win. So we had a launch date here, snapshot, December 2nd. First, high interest blockchain CD, designed to go higher, faster, retain its value. So designed, again, this is not promising, this is not making promises. Just because the language, again, Richard, master marketer, sales, all that stuff. Design does not mean will. Yeah, it's fancy language, but it means something. It means designed. Just like Bitcoin did really, really well, whether it's designed to do really, really well. I guess a question, but I think this analogy, like Bitcoin Ethereum, probably designed, if adopted, to do super, super well. So, future finance, adoption amplifier. We are all Satoshi. Not useful. Virality, staking, trusted interest. This is like when DeFi was new too. This was like super. Hex came out. It was like kind of revolutionary. It's like, whoa, trustless interest, like that's new. That's cool. So first mover advantage. Might go to Hex on that. So this was before Hex even launched, and then this was after launch. Got a bunch of videos. The taxis, pretty similar. It's got some like how to buy Hex and stuff like that on there too. Again, this looked like a scam. Like if you're on this site and you're reading this stuff, are you like, oh, this is really helpful? If I'm interested in this cryptocurrency, I know how to buy it. I know all the information about it. I know how to get into DeFi. I know how to use MetaMask. These people seem like they're popularizing Uniswap. What about this looks like a scam? It looks like a super smart, interesting, very well thought out, maintained, community run, project, website. Ignomatic, is that the right word? Ignomatic? Igmatic? Founder? Pretty cool. Don't look scammy. So, September 2021. Look at that real quick. We'll wrap up here in a second. Pretty similar too. Let's see. Oh, I can pick here. 2022. What did it look like in July 2022? I'm curious about that. Let's try that one. Okay, is that when we got the hex stakes? Average 30% returns a year. Cool. Got the hex diamond. Pretty cool. We had NASCAR. Daytona NASCAR. Remember we had NASCAR for a little bit? Pretty cool. Videos. Yeah, what about this looks like a scam? Would scammers put this much time, energy, and effort into making things so like good? I think so. By the way, I think this average stake length is around 9 years now. Used to be 6 just 3 years ago. It went up to 9. But we're gonna get up to like 10 year length. Hex is special. Removes middleman. If you ever want to really refresh yourself on what a scam doesn't look like, go to hex.com. Go to hex.com versus like any other project's website, and you'll be like, this is like full of information for individuals looking for particular DeFi products. Pretty cool. All the ads. Remember all the ads? Newspaper, was it National Enquirer or something? The Economist, does the ad in there. All the amazing websites. Some of these are still up. Some of these are, yeah, apphex.win. I use that all the time. Customx.com. I don't remember the browser extension. Hexgraphs.com. Look in the hex. Gerardo redid that one recently. Hexgraphs.com still up. Let's see. Doesn't look like it. Highest of stakes. Pretty cool times. Yeah, nothing about this looks like a scam to me. Nothing about it. I don't see it. Go to PulseChain.com. Let's compare. Let's go to Ethereum.com or Ethereum.org. Look at their website. Welcome to Ethereum, the leading platform for innovative apps and blockchain networks. Pick a wallet, get ETH, try apps, start building. PulseChain.com. Boom, you get the price. Welcome to the price. What if it goes up? Ready to get started? Buy with a bank account. Bridge, swap, launch, mine, add to wallet. Start your PulseChain journey. Very compelling, informative. This is kind of like, yeah, if you want to use Ethereum, you can. I mean, Ethereum's cool, I'm not gonna lie. Ethereum's awesome. We're a fork of Ethereum. But this website strikes me as very neutral. Yeah. Strongest ecosystem activity for Ethereum now. 135 billion locked in DeFi. 13 million transactions last 24 hours. Enterprise Ethereum. Understand Ethereum. That's pretty cool. Okay, I do like to understand Ethereum. Like, what is Ethereum? How to start step by step. Ethereum has got a, I went to an Ethereum meetup. I joined like an Ethereum like dev meetup call deal, and they were serious about building. I was like, whoa, you guys are serious about building, which I imagine probably have plenty of teams on PulseChain that have times calls like that and stuff too. But Ethereum, serious about building. PulseChain, serious about winning. Amazing community sites. New ones too. Like this, scammer wouldn't attempt real DeFi. It's a great point. 555 says StreamYard watching. It's a great time to wrap up. Appreciate you all. Didn't talk chat much, but yeah, I want to go over a few of those points and just be like, come on. RH is now a scammer. Stay strong out there. Appreciate it. Yeah, sorry for anyone who's timed out in chat. I was just trying to keep it civil, on topic, all that stuff, and just helps people enjoy the stream more and stuff too. But appreciate you all. each time. I'm not perfect either. So if you get blocked or muted or timed out or whatever, it happens. Wish you all the best. And StreamYard just keeps changing stuff. That's all I got for you today. Let me find the outro. Scivive 5555. I'm out.